We have one last question and then one comment. Thank you.
Good evening. I don't really have a question. I have something that I would like to make as a statement. It's a little bit of a geology lesson. It's a little bit of a history lesson. Anybody here from the Air Guard tonight? Anybody here from Stewart Airport? Gee, it's amazing you're not here, isn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, we have 100 years of bad habits existing on a very large piece of property that was built over again and again and again. There are runways over swamps on top of fill over swamps and runways over swamps again. It was compressed. I'm a retired electrician, 50 years. I worked on that airport for a long time. There's pipes that have been abandoned. There's pipes that they don't know where they go to. There's stuff that was abandoned and left over. There's barrels planted in the ground. World War I, World War II, the Korean War, Vietnam, Agent Orange. I did the original Air Guard installation in the 80s. We did 5 buildings in the initial startup phase of that project. We found hundreds of barrels buried in pits all over the airport. They were addressed and remediated, and there were barrels that were known that were in the close proximity that we were told not to pay attention to. With this compression of the peat bog and the moss from the swamps that were built over on Stewart Airport property, you have a wick type of conduit that allows waters and fluids and chemicals and everything to go at any kind of way it wants. At the main Air Guard entrance and War Avenue, the headwaters and trailing part of Patton Brook that feeds Washington Lake, Mrs. Cullen wouldn't allow us to play, and this is 70 years ago, let's say, because the water was red today, and tomorrow it was blue, and the next day it was green because of what they backed up and just dumped right over the top of the waters. Patton Brook, all of the waters around there. We've got 4 major tea bags right around that airport that are capped landfills. One of them has been closed for 40 years that nobody even knows was there. And it's right in that same area that they refer to as the wreck pond. Now I know just about everybody in the room here. And I have a ton of information, and I have people that live there all of their lives that are even older than me. And it's time that we get it out in the open once and for all and stop pussyfooting around here. There's a lot of bad stuff on that airport. And the DOT and the state of New York and the Air Guard and the Army Air Corps, the Air Force, and as it evolved and came right along, continued 100 years of contributing contamination. And that's what we're drinking. I'm easy enough to find. I can show you where everything is. There's holes in some of the glycol storage tanks that some of you guys might even know are still buried underground that have an opening in it 20 inches around that dumps right in to the systems that drain everything around the airport. You've got 1,300 acres on the east end of the airport alone that's totally crapped up.
Before you leave, can we get your name in case anybody wants to take you up on that? Everybody knows you.